All right, in this video, we're going to go over the mystery of the planets and explain a little bit why the planets were such a mystery to ancient sky watchers. So um, we're going to look at a nighttime sky here. Here I've got a nighttime sky set up and I've got the constellation markers up here in the sky for a little bit of orientation for you. So this is Taurus the bull right here, and we've got Orion down here in the bottom of the screen. And we also have some planets up here. So I have Mars and I have Uranus. Mars you can see with your naked eye, but Uranus, you actually need a telescope usually to see Uranus. Although in some conditions, if you have really good eyes, you can see Uranus without a telescope. All right, so just to orient you a little bit, you're kind of facing south, so west is going to be over on the right-hand side of the screen, and east is going to be over on the left-hand side of the screen. And I've got the date set here as October 1st, 2022. And what we're going to do is we're going to just skip ahead a day and see what happens. So when we do that, we notice everything sort of shifts a little bit because the Earth is going around the sun. So our perspective on this, nighttime sky is changing just a little bit. Everything's sort of shifting a little. Okay, but Taurus the bull isn't getting up and shaking his head and running around in circles. He's just in the same position. I guess maybe position's not the right word, but he's got the same stance, right? And he's moving in the sky. So he's not shaking his head, he's holding still, but also moving in the sky, right? Same with Orion down here, right? He's holding up his arms in the same position and he's not moving his arms, not waving them around, right? The stars that make up these constellations and all those background stars have the same relative positions to one another. But if we look really closely over time, Mars actually moves, and so does Uranus too. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually track Mars by adding a little tail so we can see how Mars moves relative to the background stars. So I'm going to jump ahead another day. And here we can see Mars has moved just a little bit. This is Taurus the bull's horns, big horns right here. And he's moved a little bit further towards the tippy top of his horns, right? So let's move time forward just a little bit more. So now we're on the 4th, the 5th, the 6th. So you can see, right, all of the constellations are staying, their positions and shapes are staying fixed, but Mars is moving in the sky. And the Greeks actually called planets because it means wandering star. So the stars or the planets were wandering in the sky. And this was kind of a mystery as to why it would happen like this. So what I'm going to do now that makes it even really weird is I'm going to increase time a little bit further. There was the moon that went by on our screen. And Mars seems to change direction. Do you guys see that? So instead of it just kind of going in one direction, it actually also moved, right? It did a little like turn right here. This is what we call retrograde motion, when it's sort of moving from the eastern part of the sky towards the west. This is what we call retrograde motion. So we're going to continue on with time, and we can see Mars sort of making that little loop. And I'm going to actually just drag the sky around a little bit so we can see Mars doesn't leave our field of view here. And increase time again. So again, right, Taurus the bull, he's got here's his head and here's his horns, right? Those are all, he's not shaking his head, right? But if I increase time, I actually see that Mars is moving relative to all those background stars and tracing out this weird path. Reset our orientation here again so we can catch it. So this takes actually a couple of months for Mars to go through this retrograde motion, and now we can see that it's starting to move back along the path that it came from. And we're getting really close to Mars being on the horizon here at this time of day. So I'm going to stop the simulation here. But you can see that Mars wandered relative to the background stars, and it didn't just wander in one direction, but it actually changed directions and made this weird little loop in the sky. And this was really confusing to ancient astronomers, how to explain this and why Mars and some of the other planets, well, all the other planets were moving relative to those background constellation stars.